Hello, we're in the bowels of Oracle Arena. It's very late. I'm here with Dieter Kurtenbach. We're talking about Steph Curry. With Kevin Durant out, he had a pretty good game, 22, 8 and 8. But what did you see out there about him?
It was interesting watching Steph tonight because it wasn't his best game, but he was so impactful in so many different ways. And the second that he stopped turning the ball over was the second the Warriors pulled away. And I think it spoke to just how influential Steph Curry is to this team. No Durant, you would say, well, Kevin's been getting a lot of easy buckets this year. He's really been the fulcrum of the offense. He's not in there. Maybe they're going to have to work a little bit harder. And it looked like that in the first quarter. But it was Steph throwing the ball away like 4 or 5 times. He was just being reckless with the ball. The second he stopped doing that, Warriors go on a massive run and pull away from a pretty good Minnesota Timberwolves team. And I think Steph hasn't had one of those games yet this year, but it sure feels like he's at the peak of his powers. I know Draymond Green didn't care for that phrasing too much when I brought it up in the post-game press conference, but it is – I don't know if we've ever seen Steph this influential, and the numbers haven't quite shown up there yet, but they're in like the advanced numbers and the deep analytics stuff. The numbers aren't there yet, but his influence has been immense this season, as it's always been, and I think it's only a matter of time before we start seeing a couple of crazy Steph Curry games.
You kind of talked about the turnovers, and in the post-game presser, Steve Kerr kind of seemed, I wouldn't say okay with it, but he was very liberal with his turnovers. Do you think that he had 5 on the night? Do you think that that's a necessary evil for the creativity that he brings?
Yeah, it was so interesting asking Steve Kerr about that because he said, you know, he's a loose player, he's so smooth, and yet he's so forceful, and that just seems oxymoronic to me. It's a paradox in his terminology, but I totally get where Kerr is coming from when he says, you know, Steph plays with just – he's a virtuoso out there, and you really don't want to take away anything from him. You want him to play as loose and as free as possible because he'll help you more times than he'll hurt you. Tonight it was a little bit 50-50 for the first half, but in the second half he turned off those turnovers and it went. And you just can't explain genius. It's basketball genius out there, and what will end up being a game that pretty much no one will remember, I think was very indicative to just how good Steph Curry was because he did have a little bit of that down. And seeing a little bit of that down just reminds you how good his up is and how much further he can still go, particularly in the box score. But influential, or in terms of his influence, he's just been totally incredible this season. I'm pretty much in awe. I think Steve Kerr is too.
Well, there you have it. Steph Curry is really, really good even when he's bad.
This is the breaking analysis you guys can't get anywhere else.
Well, there you have it. My name is Logan Murdoch. This is Dieter Kurtenbach. See you next time.